Hello fellow investor, long time no see. This is the first video I do after probably 6-8 months, and I will talk about what is for me the best dividend tracker, but in general the best portfolio tracker out there. If you remember, around 1 year ago I made this video where I tried to review different portfolio tracker to try to understand which one is the better, and I decided right now to record the video to review deeply SNOWBALL Analytics. That for me is the best portfolio tracker out there. This is the portfolio tracker I daily use together with Seeking Alpha, but to be honest, recently I stopped to use Seeking Alpha. The video is not sponsored, so I don't get any money from SNOWBALL Analytics. I will just leave a referral code in the description if you want to sign up. I pay myself my subscription because I really find it useful. As usual, everything in the timestamps, and let's not waste any other time. Let's jump in the dashboard of my SNOWBALL Analytics account. So this is the dashboard of my dividend portfolio account. As you can see from top right here, it is connected with Interactive Broker. It means all the trade past and future that I will do on Interactive Broker will automatically be loaded in SNOWBALL Analytics, so I don't need to do anything at all. We see this is our generic information. We see the value of portfolio, the total profit, which include dividend and capital appreciation. Of course, we are talking about unrealized gain for what concerns capital appreciation because I'm not selling my stocks. This is the rate of return of my portfolio, which in general tell us on a yearly basis what is the return of the portfolio, 8.79%, which is more or less in line with the market, with a passive income, and this is exactly the dividend that hit your account, of 2.91% or $25,000 per year at the moment. Going down, this is how the portfolio is composed. We will see a bit later. We can click on whatever area, like, I don't know, information technology, and it will tell you inside which are the stocks, which is the allocation, the gain, and so on. If we click on one stock, for example, AbbVie, this is the page of the stock where we have the chart. We can go back as much as we want, and these little dots, white dots, sorry, there is this thing on top that is not very visible. It shows when I did some action. In this case, it was a transaction to buy the stock. I started in 2019 and I did other two purchases later 2019 and after in the end of 2021. We have information about the dividend yield, market cap. This is our typical information that you can find across any free service in internet, like, I don't know, Seeking Alpha, Yahoo Finance, this kind of thing right here. We have revenue growth, forecast, PE, earning per share, dividend, and whatever information. This is the position I have in the portfolio. I have 130 shares. This is the current value, the cost basis. So I was quite good. Is more than 150% total profit at the moment, of which 127 are from capital gain. So it means that total profit, it measures the capital gain plus the dividend that I received, while capital gain is of course only the capital gain. This is the fee I paid to do my investment, which is $3 because I did 3 operations. Interactive Broker more or less cost $1 per operation, so this is why the reason. And this is the annualized return from when I started the investment, which is 22%. That's quite good. Here are the 3 purchases I did, and we can see all the income I generated from AbbVie, and these are all the dividend I got in the past. So you can notice that there is a different taxation, this percentage right here. This is because before coming in Dubai, I was in a country where the taxation of the dividend was only 15%, and when I come to Dubai, it started to be 30%. This information are taken directly from Interactive Broker, but if you have no connection with your broker, you can set up the tax rate you have in your country, and it will automatically deduct this from the dividend. So if you don't want to connect your broker, there is also a way to keep your tax correct. We can see the dividend information of the stock. There is the dividend rating. This is a rating coming from them, from SNOWBALL Analytics, is from 0 to 100. Closer to 100 means it's very good. Closer to 0, the dividend is at risk. Usual information about all, you see all the dividend paid, when was declared. This is how increased the dividend during the years, and so on. We can see the financial of the company. Again, these are all information you can get across the internet quite easily, but is presented very well. I like a lot the SNOWBALL analytic interface. It's very easy to use, it's very nice to use, and I still prefer Seeking Alpha to do my stock analysis at the moment, but yeah, it's quite well done. And you can see the income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, and whatever statistic like P ratio, price to sale, and so on. You can also go and modify the value if you want as a dollar or as a change compared to the previous year, you know. And here we see the total revenue and net income, which are, let's say, arguably the most interesting metrics sometimes. Top day gainer and top day loser. Today is Sunday, so market is closed, so these are the data of Friday. The recent and upcoming event, it means we will have a calendar when we know when there will be the earning report, the dividend payout, and so on, and some amount of news related to your stock. Going further, there is the future payment of the dividend that we will see later in the calendar, and these are the amount of dividend received per month. So let's go back to, I don't know, all time. We will see the pattern. As you can see, it's fluctuating because there are some months where I get much more dividend than others because company pay the dividend different months, not all at the same months. So you can see it's fluctuating, but the goal is to have a trend that is going up. It's not going up much in the recent time because I changed a bit my strategy. I will explain it later. This is the dividend grow year by year, so we see every year how much dividend I get comparing to the previous one. And it's my goal that I fixed at $50,000 per year in dividend. I am at the middle, 50%, and I can reach in 6 years if I continue my strategy as it is. So let's now try to check section by section, starting with the analytics part. The analytics part show, okay, the same information, value, total profit, and so on. And here starts the list of my stock. This is basically my portfolio. If I click on my holding, it's telling me all my stocks. You can decide to add or remove some column. It's highly customizable, so you can do whatever you want. And you can order, for example, let's order by total profit. So see what are the stocks that are making the best profit, or by share of portfolio. I mean, we can order how we want it. We can have the situation of my holding. We can check the dividend, so this is the same table but with column related to the dividend. So what is the dividend yield? We can order by dividend growth, by next payment, and so on, or by dividend rating. These are ratings that come from SNOWBALL Analytics that tell you how safe the dividend is. So the higher the number, which is close to 100, it means the dividend is very safe. If we go down, there are some stock where, for example, Verizon, that SNOWBALL Analytics suggests that there is imminent some dividend cut because the rating is very low. Or we can check from the point of return. I mean, this table are exactly the same. It's just software categorizing holding, general, dividend, and returns, but you can do it by yourself, deciding which column you want to see. Going forward, if we go a little bit down, there is the composition. So these are all my holding by allocation. We see that the biggest allocation is Broadcom, and after I have two ETF, which are CHD and QQQ, and after all the stock. So the lowest one is the allocation in US dollar, that at the moment I have is something around I think $12,000, almost $13,000 in cash inside Interactive Broker, which is the lowest allocation I have. We can decide to do it by sector, we saw before, by type of class, by class of investment. In this case, almost everything is stock apart from the cash, currency, region, countries, and so on. Moving on, still in the analytics area, we can check the dividend part. This is probably one of the most interesting ones, especially if you are a dividend investor. It tells you the yield that we know already and the yield on cost of your portfolio. I'm not a fan of yield on cost. I think it's quite useless metrics to check. I think the only reason to watch a yield on stock is to have some boost of your morale because you think that you're doing good. In general, when you invest into dividend stocks, the yield on cost will always be higher than the actual yield, but for me this is a metric that have no sense. Probably I will do a video and I will explain exactly why. Anyway, these are the top, unfortunately only the top 35 stocks, the top 35 holding. I have much more holdings, so here we don't see them, and are ordered by yield. In purple we have the actual yield of the company, and with this line right here we have the dividend on cost. So of course you see stocks that gain a lot from capital point of view, like for example Target have a very high yield on cost, while the dividend yield is still normal, let's say. Moving on, we have how the rating of my portfolio is done. Still the rating from SNOWBALL Analytics. We see that the vast majority is greenish, so between the reliable, safe and okay, but there are some of them that are not safe. And also here there is the list of stock with the annual dividend paid by each of them. If we go a little bit down, we have the average annual growth, so we see which stock increased the dividend for a higher percentage in the last year. In this case was Williams-Sonoma, the top one, with 18%, a little bit more than 18% dividend increase. These are the future payment, we'll see later in the calendar, and this we already checked, we already explained before. This chart I just put it again in the same table. We can then check the performance of the portfolio. Here we see my portfolio compared to the S&P 500, which of course is not amazing. It's telling you that the S&P 500 performed 25% better than how I perform, which was translating in $221,000 more. So if I just invested all my money instead of my portfolio in the S&P 500, I will just get plus $200,020. Yeah, it's a bit sad to see this. It's pretty normal because I like to invest in dividend investing. Dividend stocks tend to be quite safe comparing to the generic market, so the S&P 500. So my portfolio has less fluctuation than the market. It makes me feel more safe, and I pay this safety with this loss of $200,000. Is it worth it? I don't know. But this is what I'm doing. I switched a little bit the strategy on my investment because my priority in life changed. So I stopped to reinvest any dividend or any way to add any capital on my dividend stock, but I'm buying instead two different ETF. First one is QQQ, that you probably all know, a little bit risky ETF focused on the IT sector. And the other one is SCHD, which is a dividend stock ETF. This is basically the same dividend strategy, but I don't have much time anymore to study the stock. I mean, my days are quite busy recently, so I decided, you know what, I will just invest money in a good ETF that covers the biggest and most reliable dividend stock, and I will remove any headache from my head. I mean, as soon as I have some money, I will divide between this one and QQQ. So this is why my investment is now focusing more on ETFs. The portfolio performance in percentage, and if we go a little bit down, we can see the portfolio return by months. So this is the trailing 12 months. If we go on 2024, we are in September, so we have only 10 months, of course. These are the one of previous year. I like to keep the trailing 12 months, honestly. To see the situation is going pretty good because, of course, the market is pretty good right now. And if we go down, we see the performance of each holding. There is, of course, it's divided by color and by size. So the biggest the size of the square means the biggest is my position, and the biggest also is the return. At the moment, Broadcom is the biggest position in my portfolio and the most performing stock I have. Pretty happy about that. We can also go check the metrics. These are just a couple of information. For me, it's interesting. The P ratio as a number is completely useless for me, at least watching this number alone, because you need to compare in general the P ratio of one stock with other stock in the same sector. Like this, my portfolio is a mix of so many stock and so many sector and ETF that there is no logic to check the P ratio. But I like to watch the volatility or the beta of my portfolio. Considering is mostly a dividend portfolio right now, probably will transform a little bit as soon as I increase my position on QQQ. Right now my portfolio have a beta which is lower than the market, means lower than the S&P 500 of 0.87. It means the fluctuation of my portfolio are lower compared to the one of the market. Less risk, but less reward. Okay, let's now pass to the calendar part, which in my opinion is one of the most interesting parts of SNOWBALL Analytics, that you can find right here under Dividend Calendar. This gives you what is your annual dividend divided by months and by day, and this right here is the future dividend that I'm going to get. Of course, this is an estimation. I mean, some of them are already declared in October, November, but starting from December and so on, this is just a forecast. We forecast, of course, that the company paid the same dividend along the next quarters, because these are all dividend stock, and most probably they will do. But of course, if some company will cut the dividend, this information will not be 100% reliable. We are in September. I will get more than $3,400 in dividend only, and we see every day how much I will get. This is the amount I will get from each company, and it's very rewarding to check the calendar to see every day that some money will hit my bank account. This is something that makes me fall in love with dividend investing, because to see a plus percentage in your portfolio is nice, of course, but to see the money hitting your bank account, that's much better. So I think now you have a little bit an overview of what SNOWBALL Analytics can do to your dividend portfolio. I want to touch other two topics before I conclude this video. One is related about how to connect your stockbroker to SNOWBALL Analytics, in this case Interactive Broker. The second one is how to insert some assets which are not stock and ETF, and I'm talking especially about bond, because in SNOWBALL Analytics you can create your bond portfolio, which will calculate your monthly income, and this is amazing. It's one of the few portfolio, honestly the only portfolio tracker I found where you can insert some customized asset, in this case bond, and it will go to sum up to your dividend, so you can have a full picture of how much money you get every month. You can even add, for example, a real estate investment inside. For example, you own an apartment that you rented out, you can insert this monthly income you get from the rent, and it will sum up to your dividend, your bond coupon, or whatever other income investment you have. That's the reason why I think the SNOWBALL Analytics, it works the best, not just for dividend investor, but for income investor all around. Let's start with the integration with the stockbroker. Let's say that I want to add a new portfolio. Let's call it, I don't know, test portfolio. And let's go next. We have three different options. We can decide to connect our broker, we can enter our holding by ourselves manually, or we can download from our stockbroker the statement of all the transaction and upload it inside SNOWBALL Analytics. This last system works, of course, but is a little bit tricky, because many times what you download from the stockbroker is a little bit different of what SNOWBALL Analytics format want, so you need to do some customization. I don't suggest to use it. I mean, if you have a lot of stock, a lot of transaction, connect your broker. If you don't have many of them, or you are in some way scared of connect your broker, then you need to enter it manually, but can be an headache. Personally, if you connect your broker with a service like Yodlee, because SNOWBALL Analytics doesn't connect directly with Interactive Broker, but they use a middleman service called Yodlee that connects to Interactive Broker and after pass the information to SNOWBALL Analytics. So let's say we want to do it like that. We select the broker we want. These are just the top used broker. If you search right here, I don't know, for example, Saxo Bank, you can find also Saxo Bank. And you continue, and you have this option that will ask you to fill these two fields, the token and the query. I will make a screenshot of my Interactive Broker you see at screen right now. This is where you get this information. It's important to say this information doesn't give the right to Yodlee or to SNOWBALL Analytics to do any trade on Interactive Broker. This is just a way to share information on your transaction. So the flow of communication go from Interactive Broker to SNOWBALL Analytics and not the opposite way, because there are some portfolio tracker that connect to interactive broker differently. Also because they want, for example, that you execute the trade from their website. This honestly, I don't suggest it, but personally I don't like that one third-party service can do some operation on my real money. I prefer to have it only in interactive broker. So you just connect like this, submit, and in 24 hours all your transactions are uploaded and you have your portfolio ready. Let's now move on to my bond portfolio that is right here. Let's go to the holding, sorry. These are my bond portfolio. As I said, when you add a new holding, of course you have a database of all the stock in the US market, but you don't have information about bond. But as you can see right here, you can add a custom asset. When you add a custom asset, can be different type of asset. This case can be bond or real estate, as I said before. You decide to add a bond and you insert all the information and all the information about the income. For example, what is the coupon of the bond, on which frequency you get the coupon, and as soon as you insert it, you have it right here. These are all the bonds you own, and this is the value, this is the cost basis of the bond, and this is it's called a dividend, but in reality is the coupon that I will get every 6 months, because bond pay you the coupon every 6 months, and this is the yield of the bond. It's keep called dividend because the platform is done for dividend, but should be called differently. The only part that is a bit problematic is that we don't see the capital appreciation of the bond, because these are not connected with the market, so the market doesn't update the value of the bond. You need to do manually if you want. I honestly don't do it because for me it's important to measure just what is my income. So this is, for example, if I go under dividend on my bond portfolio, I see that I get a little bit more than 5% in coupon. These are my annual, still call it dividend, but they are not dividend. And this is the situation of the next few months. You see, for example, here there is one bond that go to maturity, so I will take back the principal money, and is already calculated automatically by SNOWBALL Analytics. Same things you can do with an apartment or with another kind of asset that can generate a predictable income, can be monthly, weekly, or whatever. So last thing to talk about is just the price of SNOWBALL Analytics. Let's take a look right here. Right now they're running some promotion with a 30% discount. They have basically 4 different options. The free option that is completely useless, you can use just to play around to see if you like or not the platform, because you can have one portfolio with only 10 holding and no synchronization with the stockbroker. For me, completely useless. You can have the starter package, is basically $60 per year. It gives you one portfolio but unlimited holding and connection with the stockbroker. Probably this can be a choice for many of you, but for me, that I want a different portfolio. I wanted to have portfolio for my dividend stock, portfolio for the bond, portfolio for the real estate. Tomorrow I can have another portfolio for other type of investment. I wanted at least 10 portfolio, unlimited holding, and also unlimited custom holding, because if I want to add all my bond, I cannot do it with only 5 custom holdings. So this is the package I took. Is a little bit something like $120 per year. Or there is the expert mode that give you unlimited of everything, but I don't need it, so that will be around $200 per year. So it was a long video. Thank you for watching up to the end. It was also a bit hard for me to start making video again. I hope the editing and recording went well. Let me know what you think. I know it's a new setup. I don't like it that much, a bit too much confusing in the background, but at the moment I cannot do anything better than that. I want also to thank you all, because even if during these months I didn't make any video, I still have increased my number of subscribers, which is amazing. Probably you liked my previous videos, that's great. And I also got the YouTube partner, which means I can monetize now the video. A little bit sad that as soon as I got the verification from YouTube, I stopped to make any new video. I think it's quite weird, but I hope now I will to start it again. Probably I will do again some series on option trading like I did before, and for sure I will keep reviewing stockbroker. I will update my review on Interactive Broker, Saxo Bank, and so on. Thank you for watching. If you have any question about Snowball Analytics, how things work, because I didn't explain 100% in the video, leave me a comment. I always try to reply, and see you to the next video.